Welcome back to Western Montana Views. I'm Ryan,
Hi, I'm Lee.
and today we're going to do a new edition of Western Montana Views after a long hiatus. And we're just going to get into the topic of millennials. Are they screwed or are they not screwed in the near future?
Okay.
So, um, jobs being offered. Jobs are being offered at like 16 to upwards of like 24 bucks an hour. How are they supposed to afford these $1 million houses?
Yeah, the average home that's being sold for $1 million. I mean, the bubble makes it so expensive, but it's not realistic. But just how long can you wait before you have to actually buy something? You
Well, I
know?
mean, that's the problem. You always have to. They say, oh, you need so much money for a down payment, right? Okay, so you save up like 10%. Okay, well, the price of housing goes up 20%.
Right. Yeah. There's no way of catching up. So what's a guy to do, especially if you're single?
Exactly.
Okay. So, uh,
Screwed or not screwed?
Well, yeah, the younger generations are absolutely financially screwed because it's not a level playing field, and there hasn't been forethought um, about the younger generations, and that's probably a historical thing, a societal thing, a human thing. Um,
Well, except for shortly after World War II, when they built all the infrastructure of like the single family house that, was built for like $6,000, $7,000.
oh, less than that. Less than
Yeah,
that. I mean, my parents bought a house in western Montana in '67 for $14,000.
14,000.
14,000. I mean, that's just not even the full cost of 1 year of college education for a millennial.
No,
No.
no.
And they bought a house in '67 for that much. And right now, that same house that's still standing, it's probably over $1 million
Mm-hmm.
because of supply and demand and people all wanting to move to Montana. Montana looks so great.
And I bet your wages carried you a lot farther in '67 than they do right now.
Um, yes, they did up until the '70s and the high inflations of that, and then the buying was over. The buying of the cheap houses was over for the common man.
They
I'd say
they
around
wanted to upgrade.
I'd say around 1975.
Mm,
And then more out of staters came. They wanted their house on the mountain,
mm-hmm.
and then property and fence lines. Everyone wanted property alongside national forests,
Yeah.
right? Well,
Be next to nature.
be,
Yeah.
be next to nature. You're gonna love it to death,
Sure.
literally. Um, so that's when I believe about the time that stuff was starting to really go up. Um, the but that was for the very wealthy that could invest in Montana. In the '70s, we had inflation that was crushing. I mean, right now we complain about inflation. It's nothing compared to 1973 or '74.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah, it was upwards of what, like 15% or something like that.
17%. Oh yeah, yeah. So try buying a house when you have that much inflation, and you don't. You rent.
Right.
You rent as much as you can, and people weren't selling their houses; they were listing them as rentals. And for a long period of time, if you and a buddy, split the cost, and you could stand each other,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how you did it. And then as it got more expensive, you needed that third roommate,
Mm-hmm.
and that didn't work as well as two roommates that actually got along.
Right.
And then as it got more expensive, you got the fourth roommate, and then everything blew apart, and you were looking for a place to rent.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's been there. Um,
But how does one catch up? Like,
you don't.
I'm seriously asking, like, how
You,
does one catch up?
well, I wish I had encouraging thoughts about that, and I don't. But until the bubble itself pops,
So
you
that's
don't.
what we're waiting on. We're waiting for this bubble to pop.
Absolutely. And if it takes, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
it takes 2 years, 5 years, or 10 years.
Well, I think the out-of-staters are not going to like, the out-of-staters that moved into the state, I mean, they're the ones that are not going to like not having their services delivered to them, or having, what am I trying to say? Basically, um, they're not going to be able to stand like sub-level service, like
The people moving to Montana right
yeah.
now, oh, they want it as bougie as possible.
Oh yeah,
I mean, you just look at the car commercials and the pickup commercials.
let's drive full speed through the mountains.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Snow don't bother me. I got 4-wheel drive. Whoops, I'm upside down in the ditch.
Right.
Yeah, they do want their creature comforts. But ultimately, I heard it said from somebody, conspiracy theories here, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The saying was this, is that no matter where you think the grass is greener, if you move there, wherever that greener place is, you only last for about 5 years max before you miss your family enough to move back a little closer. Grandpa gets sick. Grandma's dying. Oh, I better be close.
Mm-hmm. Better be closer to the family.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Something's gone wrong. My parents are sick, and I want to get them closer to, the other siblings, and, that sort of thing.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Let's,
But
mm-hmm.
as far as millennials right now buying new homes, just the average home
is still unaffordable.
It's completely unaffordable. So the only solution is bubbles gotta pop, and all bubbles do. It's just this one is crushing because it's stopping the economy. I mean, you have because the millennials are so broke.
Mm-hmm.
The only money they have in their pocket is disposable income, because there's nothing worth saving your money for.
That's just it. It's not that we're wanting to constantly blow our money. It's just we don't see the point of saving if everything is going to be unattainable.
Right. Yeah. New vehicle. Well, that's 2 years. That's many years of wages to a millennial. Buying a house, forget it.
Mm-hmm. But what's more attainable is after a paycheck, you're like, oh, I can buy a case of beer, or I can buy an ounce of weed, or I can,
Well, yeah,
that's what's more attainable,
Right, and as
food,
and as long as you don't abuse, the drugs, all the drugs, whatever they might be.
Yeah.
As long as you don't have it be a negative impact on it, you deserve that 6-pack at the end of a work week.
Right.
You deserve it. If you're smoking pot, you deserve that. I mean, that might be a medical necessity.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have the money to buy anything new at all.
No.
At all. Now, there are good investments, your millennials and all kinds of, and I don't mean to exclude, Gen Xers, Generation Zs, or
anyone younger than that.
Younger than that. There are some things that you should absolutely invest in. You guys are, the computer kids.
Okay.
For the past 4 generations, you were raised on computers. Right now, a baby born today gets a computer in front of its face. It's like,
tablet right in front of its face. Sure.
Get after it and stuff. Investing in your computer system is a wonderful thing to do. You want that upgrade, you can probably afford an upgrade, or a memory upgrade, or a microphone improvement, or an upgrade, or camera. If it makes you happy, you may as well spend your money on stuff like that. Are you wasting your money? I don't think so. What the hell else are you going to buy?
Right. If you're using it every day, or close to every day, or on a consistent basis, if nothing else, then it's a worthy investment.
And I'm saying that investment is a good idea as long as you have other things squared away. I mean, is your vehicle running good? No, you don't invest in your computer.
Right.
You got to get you got to prioritize your.
Oh, I agree with that.
Your spending. There's a must spend money to maintain, and then there's going to spend this money to upgrade. And you ain't buying any new cars And hell, the used cars are about as expensive as as a new car. And
Right.
you are not buying a house.
No.
Cover your bases, and then don't feel guilty about the money that you spend.
So that's why I put money towards a video editing computer, for example. It'll run as that function for a long time.
Which just makes me, the reason I'm giggling right now is because we're doing an audio only podcast.
It's true, but I think we can turn them out more without needing to video edit. I think we may be able to like make an intro that we can video edit and put it as like an intro and an outro. I think we could do something like that.
Well, certainly. The other things to invest in is, power is not going to get any cheaper. And with world events going on right now, fuel prices are going up. And
Oil's going through the roof.
So, if you're, depending on where you live, I don't think you do this in a rental situation, maybe to a smaller scale, yes. But if you're entrenched like you are, living here at home with mom and dad.
Hooray. No.
Well, which is fine by me.
It's fine by me too, but
Maybe you're thinking of a solar solution.
sure.
A solar solution. So if you were starting from scratch, that is money well spent. You can either use your solar investments to recharge something as small as your phone, stuff like that, or you can get a little bit more industrial and power your house. I think the sooner that we all kind of switch over, or at least are agnostic in our what we're going to do for power,
In our energy choices, yeah.
then get going on it. The nice thing about this stuff is that, it's can be expensive and stuff, but it is so simple. It is plug and play, and there you go. So another good thing to spend your money on.
Yep.
Having a reliable vehicle. Maybe you don't even own a vehicle. Maybe
Good bike.
maybe a bicycle better suits your needs. It's dual purpose. It keeps you healthy,
Sure.
unless you get run over by a car,
Right.
which has been known to happen. And it gets you from point A to point B. Where I was going before you mentioned a bicycle is that, maybe if your buddy owns the car that you ride in a lot and he needs help with a repair, maybe that's money that you can, help him to repair his car that you ride in a lot. I mean,
Sure.
you can help each other. We can all help each other. We just need to be cognizant of other people's needs and not be so goddamn selfish about ourselves.
Truth to that.
Truth to that. Other than that, picking up a meal, buying a pizza when it's your turn around,
Oh, for sure.
or movies. I mean, I'll tell you
Sure.
what.
So keep the morale going, basically, if you can.
Well, you have no other choice.
Yeah.
You know why?
Why?
Because you aren't spending money.
You got to keep yourself going somehow, right?
Well, you're broke. Everyone's broke, right? There's no dishonor in that. You haven't been given a level playing field. Okay. So, are you feeling shameful? Well, you shouldn't. Jesus Christ. You shouldn't. Should you abuse others because you don't have the money to do this? Should you, stick your lower lip out and pout and kick stones because I can't buy a house because they're all worth $1 million? Well, there's millions of people like you. Millions. They'd all say to you, get in line. We've been, stroking this violin for a long, long time.
That's very true.
Think about young families that have young children that cannot live with their parents because their parents are in nursing homes.
Or dead, or gone,
What are they doing? Because even if they're sitting in a rental situation, that rent is going up,
it's
up.
hundreds each,
Right? Will that young family ever afford a new house? Not while the bubble's still blowing up. When the bubble pops, that will be the change because inventory will be.
See, what I'm afraid of is there's not going to be a bubble pop.
Well,
It just keeps inflating and inflating.
like I said, whether it's 2, 5, 10, maybe in retrospect down the road, it would be wishful thinking if it was 2, 5, 10. It might never pop. You're talking about
Damn.
you're talking about a mass migration in slow mo. People are finding what they perceive to be a better place to live. People that in Florida, they're kind of buying property inland.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to lose a lot of their shoreline in the next 30 years.
Well, and they better choose to be like 12 feet or higher.
Yeah. Stilts on the under the houses just doesn't seem to work against those tsunamis anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But
Florida.
But my advice is that you might feel ashamed, and you shouldn't. You might feel that other people
I've explained my condition before too, so that's the other reason that I'm living at home too. It's just, why blow it on rent? Why blow any money that I would make on rent?
Well,
when I already have a condition that already cost me, lots already.
If rent was reasonable and you could rent someplace with a partner, whether that's a roommate situation or whether that's with a girlfriend, or a wife or anyone that you're, very, very close to, until that becomes affordable, the cards you got are the cards you got. And the secret is to play those cards as best as you can and hope for more cards to play.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is nothing else to be done.
Yeah, it really isn't.
And during the great resignation, during the great resignation, you can bounce around to different jobs, and that might be a requirement because for one reason or another, it's not a good fit, or you just absolutely hate it, or you're not making enough money and stuff. That's just going to go on. It's the same people.
Right.
They're just rotating to different jobs.
Right.
For change, incremental change. But that used to be called job hopping, and it had such a negative connotation to it.
Right.
But you don't need to take that on yourself. That is a baby boomer bullshit thing.
Sure.
And they got that from their parents, but let that attitude die off with the baby boomers. Don't be ashamed of yourself. Everyone's doing the best that they can. I mean, economy, COVID, Ukraine.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be a relief to know that you had an asteroid coming at you? World citizens, you have 12 years until the asteroid hits. Well, that'd be tangible. We know that at the end of 12 years, we're good. Yeah. We're good. Right? We're all going to die.
I do recommend watching Don't Look Up.
Yeah, that is an excellent movie to watch, and you'll understand my comment. But until then, you got to cut yourself some slack. Everyone's just got to cut themselves some slack. You know, as divided as the pot.
But the damn phone just wants you to divide amongst yourselves and compare amongst yourselves.
The great divider is the cell phone. That is absolutely correct. It is antisocial media. Because,
okay, this is actually a good, decent topic to talk about too. So it's like the microphone, it's fairly agnostic device. It could be meant for doom,
It could be meant for good or evil.
Good or evil, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Whereas this, it collects your thought, or it collects your words and
it maps you
phrases.
Maps you right out.
Oh yeah.
Now my saving grace is, one, I'm technologically ignorant.
Sure.
Computer illiterate. Right? And I hate the phone. I hated phones before we had cell phones.
Yeah.
And the reason that I hated phones was because of a previous job where when the phone rang, it was only bad news. So once I quit that job, I made a promise to myself I'd never be a slave to the goddamn phone again.
Makes a lot of sense.
So I ignore my phone. and I don't have a large digital footprint at all. Oh yeah, I can look around on a laptop. I can kind of search around for this and that and the other thing. Waste a whole bunch of fucking time, go down a whole bunch of rabbit holes.
Oh yeah.
Do I buy anything? No. Why? I don't know how. Well,
Sure.
you know, that helps our solvency. My wife is very appreciative that I'm as stupid as I am. Just the stupid lawnmower guy, you know, and I get to sleep with her, you know.
Silence on my end. Dead air on my end.
Yeah, all you
Crickets.
all the younger people are going like, oh God. Hey, here's what I have to say to you guys about that. Here's what I have to say about that. You're all going to be old too someday.
Okay,
so.
let's end with that. All right. On that note, we are going to end with that. Thank you everybody for listening.
Thanks for tuning in, you guys.
We have fun doing this, and we'll try to do this on a regular basis.
Yeah.
All right. Peace out.